Você nega as agressões?
100%.
Todas?
Todas. Nunca agredi ela.
Você está me dizendo, então, que todas as acusações da Gabriela são mentirosas?
Mentira.
Nada aconteceu?
Nada aconteceu.
Por que ela está fazendo isso, então?
Eu creio que, como eu disse, teve sentimento, mas entra um pouco de interesse da parte dela.
Qual o interesse?
Começa por ela falar muitas coisas que não são verdade. A maioria das coisas não são verdade.
Você acha que seria só para aparecer?
Creio que sim.
Mas você acha que é uma maneira positiva de aparecer uma mulher dizer que sofreu violência?
The full interview that Antony gave in his native Brazil is now out and available. And it's an interesting listen because this is an emotional, a concise, and very direct response to the accusations that he is currently facing. Now, I am not a body language expert. I'm not a professor when it comes to this area of criminality. So to try and dissect it and say, I think he's guilty or I think he's innocent would be irresponsible, in my opinion. But Manchester United have, along with the player, according to him, mutually agreed to suspend him as of now. He will not be returning to Manchester United to play football until the situation surrounding these allegations and the current investigation is complete. The investigation will either end with Antony being arrested and potentially charged of these crimes, therefore facing a court date, or he will not be arrested, he will not be charged, and he will be, in the eyes of the law, there'll be not enough proof to even take this to an arrest or a charge, which theoretically means, well, not theoretically, would mean that he is innocent of this. And there's been a lot of information that's come out in this interview, which is why I think it's worth watching, listening to, and digesting, whether you believe Antony to be guilty or not. I'm not someone that believes in the process of confirmation bias. There's been text messages that have been revealed that I don't think make him, those alone don't make him innocent, but there's a lot of stuff here that needs to be digested. Now, in terms of what's going on, there's a lot that's going on here, which I think is important to look at. As we just mentioned, Man United confirmed that Antony will stay away and not return to the club until further notice, as the club acts amid the domestic abuse allegations of his former girlfriend, plus two additional, and we have to remember that, two additional women have come forward and made similar accusations against the player. Some of these stem back to before he became a Manchester United player in the summer of 2002. And what's, for me, there's two sides to this. If we go away from the crime for a moment, because again, I'm not an expert. If we go away from the crime, and by the way, some people will say, well, you were quick to judge Mason Greenwood. We heard the audio, we saw the pictures. And for me, that was far more conclusive. I feel this scenario is different. Yes, there's pictures that have come out, but so far, the only pictures I've personally seen, if you've seen different ones, please send them to my DM on Twitter. But all I've seen so far is a picture of somebody with plasters on their fingers and a cut on the head. That for me isn't enough proof to say Antony did it, because they're just pictures. So, and I'm not saying he hasn't done it either. I'm just saying, if we move away from the criminality side of things, there's two reasons Antony can't play for Man United at this moment in time. The first, the club does need to do the right thing and protect itself. These accusations are out there. There's these ladies and these alleged victims that are doing interviews on television. Antony has now responded in exactly the same way. And the club need to manage this right. He could be innocent, of course. He also could be guilty. So to allow him to continue playing now, and this has become so public and so open, would be catastrophic should he be found guilty further on down the line. And the second reason that he cannot play for Man United at the moment is, watch the interview. And he is in absolute bits. Again, whether he's in bits because he's been caught, or whether he is in bits because they're completely false accusations and he believes that his future, his livelihood may be taken away due to a lie. The viewers and the audience, you're all going to have different views on that. That is irrelevant from the perspective of, he's too broken right now to play. How can he concentrate on playing football, producing and performing for the football club when he has this going on in the background. It's almost impossible for him to be able to do that, in my humble opinion. Almost impossible for him to be able to do that. So I think it's absolutely correct, and I think it is absolutely right that he is suspended. Now, in terms of the situation as well, this suspension, here are the statements that have come from Manchester United and the player. Man United said that Man United acknowledges the accusations made against Antony. He will delay his return until further notice in order to address the allegations. As a club, we condemn acts of violence and abuse. So again, a very PR-related line at the end. And I hope that Man United are a club that stands against that. I would say so far their actions and speed of actions leave a lot to be desired, in my personal opinion. Antony has also come out and issued a statement on the situation, and he has said that I have agreed with Man United to take a period of absence whilst I address the allegations made against me. This was a mutual decision. I want to reiterate my innocence of things that I have been accused of. I will fully cooperate with the police. So again, another statement here. Sorry, it's this statement here. I put the wrong screenshot up. Sorry. It's another statement which I think is very interesting from Antony, because it's completely and utterly stating again, for at least the fourth time now publicly, I have not done this. I will help and cooperate with the police. How long will this take to resolve? How long's a piece of string? Antony could now be missing from Manchester United for a long time. It is an indefinite suspension. They would say a mutual agreement to not return. I'm going to call it what it is. He has been suspended with full pay until further notice, until this situation is resolved. But depending on the vat of evidence against him, potentially more alleged victims coming forward, this could drag on for a considerable amount of time. Now, remember, this situation is very different to Mason Greenwood's. Mason Greenwood was arrested, which, as far as I'm aware, hasn't happened to Antony. So Antony hasn't even got to the point of arrest yet. As far as I'm aware, I haven't read any stories about that. If it's happened, let me know. So, of course, there's no evidence of a video or voice note of Antony actually doing anything, which is a difference as well. But of course, it took a long time from the charging. And remember, I just want to make this clear in case people haven't been through this process. Being arrested doesn't mean charged with a crime. There's a difference. After being charged, it can take months, over a year sometimes, for things to go to a court case. Now, I'm not too sure of the judicial system in Brazil, but we know that the Manchester Met Police are also involved in this as well. So this could drag on for a considerable amount of time, depending on the evidence, the quality of evidence, the claims and counterclaims, the amount of victims that come forward. This could be a long and winding road for both Antony and Manchester United. So that's why I do think it's sensible to suspend him from play, keep him away from the football club. Because, and this is no disrespect to the situation, I'm not trying to play it down, but from a fan's point of view, our games are still going to go ahead. You don't want this attention on the football pitch. We've got to move on. But I'm just saying this now. Sit down, put your seatbelt on, because this could be a long and bumpy road for him. Who plays in his position? Look, I'd love to see the situation resolved with Jadon Sancho and him given an opportunity. There's talk that Palestri may get a chance. Some will say we're not weaker as a team now that Antony's gone, and I don't even want to make a joke about that type of thing. People are doing it, people are saying it, but we will see. We'll address the football situation on another show and another time and delve into that in more detail. But I do think it's the correct thing to have been done by Manchester United. The player, look, he's gone very public, he's gone very big, he's gone very bold. He clearly believes that he is innocent. I'm not going to judge it either way. I'm seeing some people tweet and say, well, the fact he's gone public must... Do you know what's really interesting? Do you know what I've seen from people that's really not confusing? People are saying that Jadon Sancho pinning his tweet means he's telling the truth. I've seen the same people say, I've watched Antony, and I know he's publicly stating his innocence, and that means he's guilty. It's like, hang on a minute. So, by the way, I'm not comparing the situations before anybody gets their knickers in a twist. I'm talking about the people making a judgment. Sancho's telling the truth because he doubled down on his statement Antony has doubled down twice on his statement, but that makes him guilty. I don't quite understand the logic. Somebody please make that make sense. From an admission of guilt point of view, I really want to understand how that makes people think and feel. But like, I'm not going to judge it either way. I know people say, Jerry, you got to have an opinion. Do you think he did it? My honest stand-up answer is I don't know. I don't know. I've watched the video footage. I'm not a body language expert. I've seen people say they're innocent and be guilty. I've seen people state they're innocent and the world think they're guilty and then win all their court cases. There've been countless examples in recent times of that happening, especially with actors and singers. There's so many examples of people you think are guilty that are innocent, people you think are innocent that end up being guilty. So I'm not going to sit here and judge. I just think that's fairly irresponsible when we have no evidence. The public has no evidence. We've seen pictures, but we don't know that's anything to do with Antony. If I bang my head now walking out this room and I've got my head bleeding, I take a picture and I put it on the internet and say KJ attacked me, that's not evidence that KJ attacked me. There's evidence my head was cut, but it's not evidence. So this is why I think it's stupid for the public to judge. All I will judge is all I've judged so far has been Man United's handling of this situation. That has been disgraceful because there's a way in which you should operate in these scenarios. The fact that some of these allegations were made fairly public in the football world before he even joined the club. The idea that we sent doctors to the situation is worrying for me. All of that is about Man United's handling. What I will not do at this moment in time is say, yeah, 100% he's innocent or 100% he's guilty, because I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know. Some of it looks terrible. And then when I read these messages and I listen to the interview, I'm like, some of that sounds fairly plausible. So again, I'm going to sit back and wait for the police to do their investigation and to see the wood. Wait till so I can see the wood for the trees, or the trees for the wood, or whatever the expression is. Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinions. I want yours below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.